Hi, good evening. My phone says it's 8:01 Thursday, October the 20th, and this is, I guess, episode 2 of the unboxing of the cars that have entered the 2022-23 World Championship Proxy. So just to recap, this proxy has a criteria. You need to finish within the top 5. And there is some news coming. We're going to make a little bit of changes to that criteria, especially as it applies to the GT3 proxy. But also there will be a additional, I guess, stipulation or perhaps a benchmark where you would need to meet a certain time within the qualifying round in order to proceed. So more details on that coming, but we will extend the qualification, especially with GT3 proxy, to the top 10 cars, where at the moment it's the top 5, and it will only be applicable because of the high level of participants in that particular proxy. We will extend it to the top 10, and that will be from next season onwards. Okay, so tonight I have taken a few more boxes at random. We are going to weigh the front, the back. We're going to have a quick look at the car to see if it meets the basic rules as far as the tech inspection, and we're going to put it on the dyno. Last night there were a couple of cars that gave quite a large variance or fluctuations in RPM readings. We're doing those RPM readings at 10 volt. I wasn't able to find any issue with the dyno, but we'll see what happens this evening. So I've taken the liberty of cutting the boxes open just to save a few minutes, but I have not unpacked the cars, so you and me will see them at the same time. So I will take the first box, which is the one closest to me, and this one comes from Bob down in Australia. This is the second season, I believe, although he's entered many proxies. This is the second season of entering the World Championship, and after a slow start and a few technical issues, his car ran very strongly towards the end of the season. It's a Jägermeister 962. And as I mentioned in the forum, we'll take some pictures if there is any concerns. I'm going to ask Chris Walker to help with some of the scrutineering, just as far as it applies to the way the rules were written, and if, for example, the car meets that criteria from the outside, from the exterior. So anyway, let's take a look. It is a Sidewinder Predator 21.5 K motor. Is it Piranha or Predator? I always get those mixed up. I do believe it is the Predator motor. Sidewinder, that looks like a 32 tooth pinion, gear. And the car feels quite light. Let's have a look. I don't see any obvious issues from the outside. Like I said, we'll have a final ruling on the inserts. Car looks like a really neat and tidy build. And let's take a look. So the car weighs in at 36.5 on the front and 47.1 on the back. So that is a almost 50-50 weight distribution, quite heavy relative to the back for the front. Let's see. runs very nice and smoothly. Still getting quite a bit of fluctuation, anywhere between 3800 to 42, but I'll call that a 4000 RPM, sort of in the middle somewhere. And that is, you know what I am going to do? So I think it is running backwards. Let's try this again. No, it was not running backwards. So we'll fix it for the next car. Okay. So that is car number 20. Bob from Australia. I saw on the forum that he's excited by the Bathurst, a race that I am very fond of, or at least the original incarnation of that race, going back, way back. Back in the early 70s, my dad bought what was in South Africa a Fairmont GT, which was actually the Falcon. I get these mixed up. I do believe that was an XY GT, and that's a car that the likes of Alan Moffat raced. We also see quite a bit of Toronto's, which the Peter Brock raced. A race that I have watched many hours of on video, and a fantastic circuit, Mount Panorama, and just an amazing race over the years. Unfortunately, I think these days with the changes in the cars, and it's in my opinion at least, it's not quite the same. So next up we have another car from Australia, Jimmy Slots, and again someone that has sort of swam against the proverbial stream, in always doing a slightly different type of car, at least. Most often a playfit chassis. Looks like he even sent his own mask along. Hopefully it's a new one and not a used one. And let's take a look and see. My goodness, this car is very well packaged. I really need some. Oh, he's even made a little bit of a handle there to remove the tape. Tissue paper. Very nicely done. So that is car number 30. I have a lot of packaging material. Give me a second to clean this up. That's a little bit by coincidence that we have the two cars side by side. So a playfit chassis, some beautiful carbon fiber. I don't know if that is I guess a tuning part, or maybe a additional part for the playfit. It looks like a playfit. It might not even be a playfit. I don't think it is a playfit. I'm sorry, ignorance is showing. I don't know much about those chassis, but it's a metal hybrid type of chassis, and it is a Lancia. And let's see, it might be a little bit heavier. Car number 30, weighing in at 40.8 in the front and 66.4 in the back. And I think previously, I was a little bit off by my guesstimate of it being a 50-50 on Bob's car. But car number 30, Lancia, nicely painted, looks like a custom paint. and that will be entered into the custom paint livery contest we have for 2 bonus points. Running very smoothly. That is certainly one of the smoothest cars we've had. It is running 3040, 3032, 42, very consistent. So we'll call it 3045. Extremely smooth with that little bit of extra weight helping it. Jimmy Slots, car number 30. Don't see any obvious issues with that. Everything looks intact, including the front grille. Everything in place. The sides on the wing, and appreciate the fact that he put the diffuser and the back end back into the car, even though he used a custom chassis. Those little details don't go unnoticed, so appreciate it. Car looks great. Next up we have a new entry as well. This is Sherman. I guess Sherman has become famous for the fact that he has a couple of models in the Smithsonian, and it seems from the postings that I've read that he's well known within his club for building very high quality vehicles, cars. So we look forward to having him in the World Championship. So we have our first Toyota. It might be our only Toyota, with an absolutely, that does look like a custom paint job. I wish you can see the quality of the paint work, including that is very nicely done. Gee whiz, congratulations, Sherman. You need to actually see this in person. It is so smooth. It's honestly hard to tell that is not a factory paint. Chassis is a beautiful metal chassis. It looks quite a standard configuration, something that I've seen with the likes of like Dennis Sampson or Chris Walker building some of those. It feels very lightweight. An angle winder, and let's take a look at car number 2. So car number 2 comes in at 31.6 on the front and 53.6 on the back, and RPM at 10 volts. Also running very smoothly. 3495, 3500. I'm going to call it 3500. Sherman, congratulations on really a really strong, at least from a technical perspective and from a looks perspective, entry. Just a really nicely done car. Appreciate the time and effort you put into this car. Okay, so next up, let's see, where is this box? So this is Smokey-O. Smokey-O has been a fantastic supporter, and you know, back in the day when we started the Group 5 proxy, and we took it over from someone else. We only had a few entries, and I reached out to Mike, and I reached out to Dennis and a couple of people, and they were happy to support. And it's because of their support that this proxy grew into what is now the GT3 and spun off the World Championship. So I guess I always will have a soft spot for the likes of Smokey O, Super Slab, Rob, and a few others who supported these events from the get-go. So it's a Lancia. He just does an amazing job with these traditional colors of yellow, black, and white, and airbrushing them. They always a slightly different design, and they always look great. So from what I can tell, mirrors are all in place. Wheel inserts are correct for the Lancia. It has decals. It looks like a race car. It's really nicely done, and is running a Sidewinder Shark 22. That looks like the older Shark, and it is a slotted chassis, and everything looks neat and tidy. Car number 70. I see a 33.9 on the front and a 54.9 on the back, and also running very smoothly at 31, we'll call that a 3200 RPM. Again, really nicely done, little detail with exhaust, the vents all there and complete. Car looks great. Just want to make sure that you can see it. Wishing you a strong series. Okay, so next up, let's take a look. Who do we have here? We have Leadfoot. Leadfoot is from Kelowna, also someone that has supported our proxies for a number of years. I think this looks like the same car he entered last year, or at least the body. Leadfoot used to work, he's retired from the same company I work for now. So Budweiser, this is the IMSA Porsche. Everything, as far as I can tell, it's got the correct inserts, it's got all the vents, all the detail. Car number 86 looks complete and good to go. Bayside, company out of Washington, Seattle. It used to be a sponsor and an entrant back in the days in IMSA. So take a look at car number 86. Weighs in at 55.1 in the back and 33.8 in the front, and RPM at 10 volts. Again, running very smoothly. That is steady running car. Coming in at about 3100, does jump up to 32. There's a little fluctuation now, but I think 3200 is probably where it's at. Okay, so who else do we have? Let me have a look. Okay, so here we have the two guys from the Czech Republic. We have Peter, and I apologize, I forget the name of the second person. And they were an entry, or it was two entries, I should say, at the discretion of the race director, based on their strong performance in the GT3, albeit that they probably didn't end the season. They had some really end the season, you know, towards the top five. They had really strong results. Mostly probably didn't finish within that top five because of their tire choice, which was a scale order tire that performed really well on certain tracks, less so on some others. So this time I do believe they're running NSR tires. They were able to get a supply of the older original style NSR. So two Lancias and car number 101 and car number 100. I do see that this car, as well as car number 100, has some really long guides, so hopefully that won't cause an issue on some tighter corners. That would be at the discretion of the track host. It's not illegal to run a long guide, but it could be a challenge when we're running at tracks that have really tight radius corners. They're running a Czech motor. I looked this up and I forget the name of the motor now, but it's a motor that I'm not familiar with. It is sold by Electric Dreams here in North America. It is a Czech design, it's a balanced motor, and it's a 21.5 RPM. I'm definitely going to order myself one or two to test. So again, bringing something different and something unique to the series. So car number 100, this is Peter's car, and it is a Sidewinder. Interestingly enough, I don't recognize that gear. That might be the new slotted Sidewinder plastic gear. And a Lancia. So let's take a look and see. Car number 100 weighs in a very light 27.9 in the front and 48.8 in the back. Very smooth and extremely consistent. RPM is a little bit down, 28.72, 28.74, 28.8, extremely consistent RPM reading. Wow, that is silky smooth. 28, let's call it 2880. I don't think I've seen a car on the dyno this smooth. Quite light, so they've obviously gone with a strategy of a light car. So the one thing I'm just not sure of, I need to check and see in the back of the Lancia, those parts that are missing. The rule does allow, if it is not attached to the body, to have it removed. I need to make sure that is indeed correct. And we'll take a look at car number 101. Also looks complete, and again I'll confirm that this is not an infringement. Again, let's take a look at the weight. So the car weighs in at 28.6 in the front and 48.4 in the back. Just want to double check. Sorry, I'm getting a slightly different reading. I'm going to change that one final time. 29.2 in the front and 47.7 in the back. RPMs. Again, super smooth. Coming in at almost the same, pretty much identical, 2880, 2890. This one did jump at 3000. I'm going to call it 2900. Okay, so that is it for this evening. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars. The rest of the cars I will finish tomorrow, and good luck to you all. I didn't see any significant infringements. I am going to check on the rear of those Lancias, but other than getting a little bit of clarification, I didn't see any significant infringements or any real concerns. So I want to say thank you for your efforts, and much appreciated. Have a good evening. Thanks. Bye.